Looking back on today's trading session, what I really want to do is just go over different. I want to go over the breakout strategy really, or how I use breakouts and how you can use breakouts, or could have used them today to enter in any type of short position, basically. Because the market was selling the fuck off today and you had structure to base your breakouts off of. Right now there is a lot on my screen, so I'm just going to explain what's on the screen and I'll just get it off because I feel like it adds context to what was going on. For me, it's not a lot, but it might look like a lot to somebody. But basically, as you know, or if you don't know, these green markers or green rays are going to be indicated as liquidity that I have marked up as targets. I use liquidity as targets instead of like a TP1, TP2 type thing. I use those as my targets for TPs. Today I was actually active and I caught these two TPs off this drop somewhere in here. I'll try to include footage from the trade if I can, so you can see that. But basically Top Step was like acting up today. So I actually wasn't even able to really show you any type of recording for real, because once we started dropping, my screen went blank. So I actually didn't catch any of this short until we got down to this area when my screen came back, entered into a trade, got stopped out of break even. Then I entered into another trade on my combine, which I think I need like less or around like $150 or something like that in order to pass it. But yeah, I ended up catching a short along here, and then I took another one somewhere in here as well, right?
It's like us drawing liquidity, right?
Yeah, I see it. 0.13. It didn't fully grab it all the way, and then we still got London lows down there that I like, but
Yeah,
now it look like it's going.
Order filled.
I'm gonna get back in a little bit. Just put, I ain't put a lot in on this. Oh God, I'm below default. Lock in a little 40 piece right here. It's about to come get me up out of this though. But that's cool.
Oh God, nigga AJ said he had 3 break-even trades. No cap.
That shit crazy, bruh. That shit is real like crazy, fool. Oh God. I really want to go to the my 1 minute gapping. That's wild. That don't even supposed to look like that, and I know that for a fact.
I want to see what it looked like, bro. It ain't even giving me the opportunity to look at that shit. This candle about to flip though.
Hell nah. Yeah, I locked in 100 right here, bro. Just in case. Cause this candle ain't got no wick on it on a 1 minute. But with these targets right here though.
Yeah, there is, but I couldn't get in off of this flip because I can't see what the 1 minute looking like.
Yeah, I'm locking in 2 right here, bro.
It just took out the first draw liquidity.
I locked in 240 of that first draw. I need this second draw to get hit.
Order filled.
All right, it took me out of most of these contracts. So I got, damn. Yo, that shit is wild, bro. That shit crazy.
Order filled.
It took me out of the full position with that one after hitting the targets. Once price would have broke past this level and would have got anywhere in here, so the 0.36 area, I would have entered short, which I did. And price ended up dumping down. I ended up going break even right here as well. We end up bouncing off the 200, which is something that I was paying attention to because we have 200 right here, and then we have another structure point, which price could likely bounce from this level and then push back up to the upside. So I like to keep that stuff in mind whenever I'm trading, because those are likely indicators that price could go against you. So it's best to be able to play defense to be able to protect your capital, right? So I ended up going break even. Price came back, stopped me out, and then I ended up taking another short position somewhere in this area. And price did play out, and I ended up winning the trade. Ended up making somewhere around $1,400 on the day across the combine. However, on the express account, only made like $80 today because that was a trade that got stopped at break even. And after that, I was just done. I didn't want to trade anymore, right? Just take the trade and go, right? So from here, like I said, you can use this as a breakout area. As you see, there's 2 ways to be able to enter off this trade, right? You can get in on the initial breakout and then play, depending on how much you're willing to risk. Like me, usually on breakouts, I'm willing to risk 25 points. So 25 point stop would have been just enough. I remember when this candle did get down here, it did not come back up this far. Like it didn't come back up inside the previous body of the non-25 candle or anything like that, right? So you would have been fine on your entry if you had left it alone and waited for the actual like full 1-to-1. Because the way I trade, I like to move my stops to break even after 12 points have already been hit. However, if I'd have made or waited for 25 points, then I would have been good. But I didn't do that, and I usually don't. That's just how I trade, and that's just catered to me specifically. It works for me, and I'm profitable from it. So that's just how I like to trade. Don't judge me, right? But you could have used this where you got in initially off the break of the zone. Another way you could have ended this trade is seeing that we had a break and retest. So what Price did was Price broke through, retested off the zone, and then we got pushed down from there, right? So you could have entered off two different scenarios for entries looking for short positions. And then if you wanted to wait and you wasn't sure and you wanted another confirmation to enter the trade, or you wanted to look for another zone, you could have used another structure point, which would have been right here. When price did come down this area, I think it retraced some, because I remember a short position that I had did get stopped at break even around this area. However, you could have re-entered, or if you had the 25 point stop, you likely would have been just fine trading this. Let's see, 25 points. Yeah, you would have been fine if you would have used a 25 point stop on this as well. So you see we have structure point. Usually whenever you're just trading breakouts, you're just going to look left to swing high or swing low. So right here you have a higher high and then you have a higher low indicated by this area. You would just use the higher low in this situation, and once price would have broke through, you would have entered short and you would just held your position, and then you would have made money today, right? And you could have literally had your exit at the next area for a breakout, or would have resistance at, and you could have had it set TP to TP. So it could have been something like this, right, if you wanted to. This looks like this probably would have been something like a 1-to-1 or something like that, close to a 1-to-1, but nah, just yeah. Or you could have had it set right at a 1-to-1, right? So you could have had a 1-to-1, or you could have had a 1-to-2 set. Either way, you would have made money today if you was wanting to go for like 50 points or something like that. Or hell, this shit ran for like more than a 1-to-2. You could have grabbed the fucking like 1-to-3, 1-to-4. Like price ran today, right? And then if you wanted to wait again, you could have looked left continuously and found you another area, which would have been somewhere up in here. Or we can just use this hourly zone that's already marked up, and then we change this blue, and you could have entered here as well, right? Same thing. If you would enter here once we broke through here, 25 point stop, you would not have been stopped out on this trade. You would have been good, because once price end up breaking, it end up coming back up, it retested off of this zone. So you see, once we broke through this level, we got to retest off of this zone, and then we got to push down again, retest, push down again. And then from there, price did start to change from that format, and then we started having a market structure shift, and we started pushing back to the upside to fill in all the gaps that we left behind, which I figured we would do something like that. It was also similar to how we had price from yesterday as well. We made this big rally up to all-time highs, creating new all-time highs, and then price ended up dumping all the way back down to mitigate everything that it left behind, right? So basically, when trading breakouts, it's super simple, man. I do not complicate trading breakouts. You don't even have to look at higher time frames. Me, I look at higher time frames just for a narrative of what I would like to see, which will give me more influence to entering a trade. However, you do not have to do that. I would suggest doing it, but you don't have to. I see a lot of traders who trade breakouts who purely just look at the 5-minute and don't look at any other time frame, unless they want to trade the 1-minute for breakouts as well, right? But primarily, I'm looking at the 5-minute whenever I'm getting into a trade or taking any type of entry for breakouts. But I like to use high time frame influences, and you can use high time frame zones for resistance and support to base your trade off of for entry as well, though. But still enter on the 5-minute if you like, right? So those are 4 different areas that you could end up taking this trade or taking any set of trades and going short, and you would have made money today with appropriate stop loss. So like trading breakouts today was pretty free. Even yesterday, right, when trading the breakout yesterday, I wouldn't say it was super free just because we didn't have too much structure to go off of to the left, unless you went to higher time frames, which made it a little rougher than normal. Then I would say, or not rougher, but made it a little tougher to be able to find an entry point or whatever, right? So I used like the 13 rejection of a pullback basically to get my entry for a long position. But for today, breakouts were solid, pretty free, and this is just like a quick, simple way that I would use breakouts. It's nothing really to it. If you was looking for a trade to go to the upside now, right, you can use the same format, right? Boom. So I can get rid of all these markups. And then if I came in later in the day or something like that, maybe I didn't trade the New York Open and I got to the charts late or something, right? I see we starting to create structure. We got us another higher high, then we got a higher low. If we're coming back up to that higher high now, then I'm going to be looking to mark up my zone, something like this. And I'll drag it to the left, pretend prices in there, something like that, right? And then basically from there, I'm looking to take a long position. Once we break the zone, I'm going to have a 25-point stop. In this situation, depending on how far your stops would have been, you probably would have been stopped out of this trade actually, unless you would have had a deeper stop loss. But it goes to show that in this area, longs would have ended up eventually playing out depending on how you would have had your stops. 50-point stop up to the top of this would have been fine. If you would have probably entered this trade after, so maybe you say you take 2 trades, you get stopped on this first trade, then you decide, okay, cool, I'm gonna wait because I see prices starting to become bullish again, and I already have the conviction that we're going to fill in the gaps that we left behind. I'm going to wait again for us to break this zone, or you can go ahead and create another zone, which would be up here in this level, and then you just wait for the zone to be broken up here. And then once this zone was broken, which more than likely if we would have came down this far, price would have came and broke this way, then went back up, and it finished up here. So once that would have happened, you would have immediately been entered here, and you would have ran your stops up, and you would have ended up making money today on the breakout from this as well. It's not 100%. You will lose some trades. That's just how it goes. So this trade would have been a loss right here in this area for me personally. I know I would have ended up losing this trade unless I would have been able to go to break even if it had so where we broke out of that. Actually, no, I wouldn't have lost this trade. I more than likely would have went break even on this trade. Like if I would have had my stops set for a 12 point, and once we got the breakout, yeah, I would have already been up 18 points. So actually, technically, I would not have lost this trade, but depending on how you trade and how you manage the trade, you would have lost or you would have broke even. Me, I would have actually broke even on that trade, so I wouldn't have lost that trade. And that is for the reason why I set trades to break even at 12 points, just because when price comes back, in my mind, if price is going to come back to my original entry, likely it's going to reverse and go against me for a while, if not stopping me out. So I've learned over time, that's just how I like to trade, and that's what works for me. And then I just would have entered this trade again, so I actually would not have taken a loss. Today, I basically had all winning trades, except I think one trade I ended up getting in too early on for a short position, and it got stopped out. And then I immediately re-entered once I seen it dropping back down again, and then I ended up making money on that trade. So basically, that's how today went. Pretty simple for breakouts. Nothing crazy. Hoping we can get a win tomorrow. We'll also show the account so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is Express account. Didn't really make much on it today. I think I made what, $88. Nothing crazy. And then the Express account, I made 14.47 on there. I did add to these trades, so that's why it's gonna say that I took 11 trades or whatever, right? But yeah, I just need a few bucks left, and then we'll end up passing that account, and then we'll be good to go. So yeah, that's really it. That's all I got for this video, man. Until next time, on a better living.